Welcome for the first lecture on the subject signals and system in this second semester. We will try to go through the overall contents of the subject in the beginning lecture, and I will try to introduce the detailed content step by step as per our usual practice. The subject signals and systems is a very fundamental subject and is of interdisciplinary nature, in the sense that this is signals and system is there in all branches of engineering, not only engineering, even in general, what we can say is a general subject covering scientific temper of professionals. So this subject is having its wide applications across all the fields, in all the subjects. In electronics engineering, it would be useful for you in the subjects like, say, control system in this semester, then digital signal processing in the next semester, image processing, or almost all subjects there you will be requiring the fundamentals of this subject, signals and systems. Then I had given you the YouTube links for Signals and Systems Part 1 by Professor Gadre from IIT Bombay, highly classical teacher, and I am sure that most of you had gone through few of them, at least, even though not all of them. You try to watch them independently, even in days to come. I was waiting whether somebody of you tells me to give the links of Part 2, but I am sure that since it was vacation, you might have not been yet finished the Part 1 viewing. So I will be giving the YouTube links of Part 2 of Professor Gadre's course, which also you can view, and simultaneously you listen these lectures. This subject is having tutorials wherein we will be interacting batch wise so that the students can ask their questions. In the tutorial, we would be requiring that the students not just watch but do some work on paper. So in the tutorial sessions, which will be going batch wise through some online platform, for which students are expected to be prepared with notebook and pen so that they can solve the problems at the time of the session, and during the session we will interact so as to address the difficulties. With this much beginning thing, we start the introduction of the subject. As the name suggests, signals and systems. Signals and systems. We will not be going through modules as such in the syllabus, but today's time we shall devote to understand the meaning associated around only these two words, what exactly the subject covers. So what is a signal? So let us start with the word signal first. I am sure that most of you must be having their own ideas about the concept signal. It is an indication of something. So the first time when the signal is known for a common man is, especially in India, is a signal is associated with trains, Indian railway system. A signal that is indicating something. So that way the word signal is known by a common man. But now when we had studied enough in the science stream up to 12th, then first and second year of engineering, let us not spend time in what we can say simpler definition of signal, but let us try to now address the core content. Then let us try to define signal. Signal definition we take. It is mapping of one variable with other variable. Signal is mapping of one variable with other variable. The other variable normally is time. The other variable normally, I am saying normally, not necessarily always. So we need not always restrict ourselves to study time signals. But in most of the cases you will find that unless otherwise explicitly specified, we concentrate on time signals in which the other variable is time. So when we talk about signal, immediately we are tempted to have a graph, two-dimensional graph on which horizontal axis is t-axis. You have plotted many such graphs in your studies till now. So by signal we mean that obviously signal must be now mapping of one variable with other variable. So what is a variable? Variable is something, it is normally some parameter. It is normally some parameter which human being is able to sense through the sensory organs. So most simple example of a signal is a temperature signal. So time can be 12 midnight to next 12 midnight. Date of a month means time can be continuous, right? So it is we will say that it repeats, that is temperature becomes less in night time, more in daytime, like that. So right now let us not, we are not going for any kind of what we can say, survey of the tropical region and all that. So we will not be discussing details of temperature signal, but what I wanted to indicate is that when we talk of a signal, the one variable is time and other variable, the other variable is time, and we map some variable with respect to other variable, and that the variable which we are mapping is some variable which is some phenomenon happening in nature sensed by human being. Say for example, mood of an individual. Is it a signal? Can we map mood versus time? Yes, we can map, but as regards to mood of an individual, the parameter is not easily sensible by other person like that. So, to be very precise, some physically happening phenomenon and how it is related to some other variable, that is in most of the cases time, not necessarily. Suppose I am just giving examples. Suppose that I am just giving examples to give you idea of a signal. Suppose if you are having a rod, a metal rod you are having, and you are heating it with a lamp, spirit lamp, which you might be using in school day experiments, from one end, and it is a 1 meter length, 1 meter long, say iron rod, and it is continuously being heated up. After some time, say after the things settle down, around say after 15-20 minutes, what you will find? Temperature here would be high, temperature here would be moderate, temperature here would be somewhat less, and temperature here would be extremely low. So what you will find in that case, when we are heating a metal rod from one end, then position of the point where you are measuring temperature from the end where you are heating is independent variable, and temperature at that point, so it is temperature versus position. So signal in that case is a position signal where temperature of the point on the rod is mapped with respect to its distance from the origin where you are heating up. So not necessarily always there should be a time signal. I hope idea is clear. In fact, signal is so widely understood by many that there is no need of description, because even if I describe it in many ways, the exact understanding does not depend on my description. You always are carrying some kind of perception of a signal, because this is something which is quite obvious now. What I am trying to codify it in some scientific manner. Then in the first semester, in some other context I had used it, but now we shall elaborate it to a large extent. That is most important. So, if we talk about temperature, or in electrical engineering, voltage. So voltage is something, as you are electronics engineers, even though your sensory organs do not permit you to sense voltage, but voltage is now very simple term which we are able to understand, even though we had, means just like length we can see, weight or mass we can perceive, temperature we can sense. So mass, length, temperature, these parameters are directly sensed by human beings' sensory organs. Like that, voltage is not sensed, but we are so much now practiced with voltage that we have got a sixth sensory organ like this, so that we easily understand what is voltage, and we are very much conversant with when I say that I apply a signal V in T and I obtain another signal VOT, and I have some electrical circuit like this. I apply V in T here, I obtain VOT here, or our most famous circuit like this. I apply V in T here, I obtain VOT here. So voltage is one more such parameter. Now these are called as, in the signals and systems, there would be a new theme introduced to you about discrete signals. Prior to that, so till this point of time, we did not say continuous signals. We did not utter the word continuous. Why we did not utter the word continuous? Because unless otherwise specifically specified, the signal is presumed to be a continuous signal. Signal is presumed to be a continuous signal. So what is difference between continuous signal and the thing which I am going to introduce, discrete signal, we shall discuss as things emerge. But prior to that, we need to tell that time is a real variable. You are aware, you have studied mathematics at high school stage, you have studied mathematics at college stage. So we shall elaborate real variable, mapping of one real variable to other real variable, and so on very soon. Thank you.